20 for you?
A guy that NBA fans are probably split on. Paul George, I have as number 20 on there. He impressed me massively with the injuries that he had in the Clippers roster and his playoff P thing. I feel like he squashed that with a few games in there. I've got him at 20. Who is your 20th player?
I've got Donovan Mitchell. So, look, I think he stagnated a little. He was disappointing in the playoffs. I think his defensive side of his game, which when he came in out of college and into the NBA, was supposed to be a strength of his. I think there's just too much reliance on Gobert. Now, if he's in Utah or wherever he is next season, I want to see him improve the defensive side of his game, especially given he's not going to have Gobert next to him as someone who can kind of compensate for some lack of defense on the perimeter. So he stagnated a little for me, but he's still an elite offensive player, and he's got those playoff performances in the past that tell me that if I'm going into a playoff run, I can be confident with Donovan Mitchell on my team. Did you have him on the list? Should I?
I did have Donovan Mitchell.
You do? Okay, yep.
Really,
all right.
19th was just discussed Zion Williamson. I've got him on because I'm starting my criteria is just my last memory of them and what I expect moving forward. But when he hasn't played in some time, but when he plays, his All NBA production, 28-7 first year, still getting used to NBA speed and pace without an outside shot. And the idea that he's still developing, and I'm so excited for the fact that he's in the New Orleans culture and player development, whatever they've got going on there, the way that Herb Jones and Ingram and everyone has been able to play. Zion Williamson, I feel like this year, he's going to be my dark horse MVP. He's going to be when we do the season predictions because I am, I'll save it for another ep, but Zion Williamson, I've got 19. 19, who was your 19th best player?
Yeah, so firstly, I'm disappointed I had Zion at 24 now. I should have put him higher. So I'm disappointed in that. 19 for me was Jaylen Brown. So I thought he was incredible in the finals. Like, he's got his flaws, the ball handling, the lack of playmaking, the tendency to turn the ball over, but he's an incredible scorer and he's an incredible defender. So that combination of two-way ability has him at 19 for me. Number 18 for you?
18 is a guy that is, again, divided by NBA fans. I've got Rudy Gobert in my top 20 NBA players. For his antics anyway, however you feel, to me, still the worst trade in the NBA, and being that no one else would have done such a trade other than Minnesota Timberwolves. That probably sums up who they are. For all that there, he's still an elite, the best rim protector in the NBA, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. And still a lob threat. I'm excited to see what he can do with multiple playmakers on the team there. For however you feel about him, you have to respect what he can do, how much he can impact an NBA game with just one side of the ball. So, did he even make your list? Is Rudy Gobert even on your list?
No, because I'm sorry. You're probably right. He's probably on the list, but I just hated that trade and I hate his contract. And so I'm just, for those pure reasons, I'm just stamping him off the list. I just cannot be on there. 18 for me was actually his now teammate in Anthony Edwards. So this may be a little bit high, but I'm on this bandwagon of, we saw what Ja Morant did last season, where he just exploded, won most improved, became one of the best point guards in the league. And yes, Anthony Edwards isn't a point guard, but I think he's about to explode in a similar fashion and make a leap up alongside Ja as, the most explosive player in the league and a top 10, top 12 player in the league. So I'm probably going a little bit early on that, but he had some fantastic production last season. 17 for you?
You just mentioned Ja Morant, in that he's exciting in so many aspects and everything. I just didn't like the fact that your team kept winning without you. And sure, it's incredible that you jumped into the MVP conversation and you called the culture changer. But maybe the Twitter stuff's a little too corny, but at the end of the day, that jump is really, 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 really impressive. I would just like to... it sticks with me that it was a 20-3, though. What was the record without him?
Oh, yeah, it was a good record, whatever it was. Yeah.
He's just a little too good. So that's probably, maybe I've got him a little there. That's probably why I've got him there. You're 17?
Yeah. Well, on Jar as well, they pushed the Warriors. He went down in, the end of that game 3, I think it was, and they pushed them in game 4 and game 6, and they smashed them in game 5. So they were still competitive against the Warriors in that second round series without Jar. 17 for me was Dame Lillard. So I obviously had the injury last season, but I think that kind of makes us forget how good this guy is. He's still the deadliest and most dangerous three-point shooter in the league outside Steph. So for that reason, and his ability, I think, to carry the Blazers to a consistent playoff record, obviously last season aside, the Trailblazers have been a consistent playoff team, and he's carried them there really alongside CJ. He's had no wing help whatsoever. I'm interested to see what happens now that he's got Jeremy Grant there next to him. 16 for you?
A guy I'll be surprised if you have on your list, actually, more than anything. Anthony Davis is the player I've got as a 16th. He cannot stay on the court, but his injury, I look back at the injury, there's such freak injuries that he just wrong place, wrong time. Once a guy's foot just happens to be there. But when this guy is up and running, that's Defensive Player of the Year type versus, he's probably the best defender in the NBA and can just change, because the Lakers' title hopes, I'm going to say rely on it. Like, if he's at his best, he could essentially save this Lakers dump that is the dumpster fire that is their team. So Anthony Davis, to me, I've got 16. Do you even have him on your list?
Yeah. So it took us from 25 down to 16, but we are in agreement again because I've got Anthony Davis 16. So yeah, you're right. The injuries, the complete deterioration in the jump shot is what has been the biggest surprise to me since the NBA bubble where they won the championship. Like, he just can't make jumpers anymore for some reason. I think it's a change in body shape, whatever it is. But that, combined with the injuries, missing games, has got him down this far, because otherwise he's got the talent. He should be top 10 on this list.